Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing...
In this bulletin, new guidelines for police recruitment, political party audits strengthened, and new equipment to boost police operations.
From the studios of FBC Suva.
With a number of disciplinary issues being highlighted in the Fiji Police Force, there are now plans to review its recruitment guidelines and procedures. Acting Commissioner of Police Rusiate Tunravu says the review is needed to improve the image of the force. He says all new recruits need to be groomed well before they enter the workforce so they can display professionalism and maturity at all times.
That's why we are going back to improve our internal process and system. I've stated that when I took over as acting commissioner. I would like to see that we go back to the basics of things. We need to nurture the recruits well from the start. Once we have that, ground them properly from that level, they will go far.
The Registrar of Political Parties is working with the registered parties, auditors and the Fiji Institute of Accountants to develop guidelines for the audit of parties' accounts. Registrar Mohammed Sanim says they have previously found discrepancies in the accounts of political parties and therefore the guideline is necessary. Kritika Kumar reports.
Mohammed Sanim says they have found various issues of non-compliance with standard accounting rules.
Various instances where parties have been referred to FICAC. Whilst that is one arm of the functions of the registrar, we still would like to work collaboratively with political parties and develop the framework.
He adds in future they want the reporting of political party finances to be accurate.
We are working with the political parties and their auditors as well as the Fiji Institute of Accountants to be able to develop some guidelines for auditors when they are auditing political party accounts. A lot of the political party accounts, as you know, suffer from chronic issues such as lack of issuing of receipts.
One of the amendments to electoral framework will see political parties having to submit their financial reports before and after election.
The amendment to Section 24 would allow the registrar to assess the election spending and monitor the donations and income and expenditure of nominated candidates.
There are 7 registered political parties in the country. These are Fiji First, Social Democratic Liberal Party, National Federation Party, Freedom Alliance Party, Unity Fiji, Hope and Fiji Labour Party. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Police search and rescue efforts as well as drug operations have been boosted by over $5 million maritime safety and security equipment. Defense Minister Inia Seriratu says the assistance from Japan has arrived at the right time as Fiji battles COVID-19 impact and recurring natural hazards. Details with Josiah Nanunga.
This assistance is a testament of the strong bilateral relations between Fiji and Japan, especially in the areas of national security.
Handing over formality also marks another milestone in both our countries' relationship, particularly in the field of national security and policing, where our engagements have been progressive. The Fiji Police Force has gained a lot in terms of technical assistance, such as this. Professional development and capacity building programs for Japan.
Japanese ambassador to Fiji, Kawakami Fumihiro, says they will always prioritize Fiji's need to boost resilience against the pandemic and work towards disaster risk reduction.
Japan has been assisting Fiji in various areas, but this is the first time to assist the area of maritime law enforcement. So this project is a symbolic one, which shows strengthening and widening of support for Fiji.
The assistance include patrol boats, which will arrive in June, rescue boats, a diving system, and underwater rescue systems, among others. Jose Nanunga, FBC News.
The Ministry of Health is keeping a close watch on the new variants of COVID-19 currently found in Australia and New Zealand and other parts of the world. With repatriation flights coming into the country, the ministry intends to know the mechanisms on how the new variant is transmitted. Health Minister Dr. Iferemi Wanganambete says they are liaising with the experts in order to remain updated with the impact of the new COVID variant. Dr. Wanganambete says last year they had stopped repatriation flights for a week so that frontline workers can undergo processes to strengthen the border quarantine.
For about 7 days, or at least 7 days, we didn't have any flights, and we actually, our Minister of Health, COVID quarantine, the frontliners actually went through their processes to be able to look through and actually strengthen what we do.
The Fiji Ships and Heavy Industries has begun its multi-million-dollar rehabilitation on the slipway. Fiji Port's Chief Executive Vajira Piasena says this will cost $1.2 million. Piasena says with less ships coming in for refit, it's a good time to renovate the slipway. Piasena says the work includes the fabrication of the cradles, while other rehabilitation will be done by the staff. With no regional vessels coming in for refit due to travel restrictions, the Fiji Ships and Heavy Industries is refitting local vessels, barges and tugboats, including Fiji Navy vessels. Up ahead, interest shown for Fiji and Drua Super Rugby bid and BMS out to claim title. Stay with us.
Oira na ngone no de nunu ena be singa ni mataka.
Mersu sunga da kana loma dina kina be karon.
Sakena ngau na mitaro bina no rabak sanga ika wala loma taki na ngone. Dalabina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuli.
Nama kiki rau ena be mataka.
Oni ti kina makarombuka.
Ni wai tiri kalima na miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena Radio Fiji One nandomo ibiti.
Indaw kina na mataka dan ramai na singabo.
The Fiji Rugby Union has received interest from private investors regarding the partnership with the Fijian Drua as part of its 2022 Super Rugby bid. FRU Chief Executive John O'Connor says they're having discussions with interested parties. As a proposed new entrant, the Drua will need to meet stringent financial conditions set by New Zealand Rugby Union, which include the requirement to hold substantial cash assets and provide financial guarantees to ensure the team's long-term viability.
We're working very hard to make sure that we meet the requirements in terms of investment and so forth before the end of March, so that New Zealand Rugby can tick off one of the milestones that we need to achieve, which can then lead to our official announcement as being part of the New Zealand, as being part of the Super Rugby competition for next year.
There have been some quality rugby league action in the first 2 rounds of the Fiji Secondary Schools Rugby League Southeast Zone competition. Leading the charge in the under-19 grade is Ratu Kandavulevu School Eels, who brushed aside their first 2 opponents in the Tanoa Challenge. Aquila Dhama has the details.
Slippery like an eel, RKS is once again proving to be quite difficult to catch following their 52-0 thumping of RSMS recently.
Actually, the coach and the management have decided to change the team around with mostly involving the core players and introducing of new players.
These players were supposed to feature in the under-18 Dean side last year.
Most of them are under-19 players, the core from the under-18 last year. Only few of them are joining Ratu RKS this year.
The pandemic may have hindered the 2020 Dean's dreams, but there is still a lot to play for this season.
They are eager to play because last year there was a layoff for all of the year. Most of the under-18 were supposed to play last year, they are here.
RKS is expected to meet either Lilin Memorial School or Ratu Letenara this weekend. The round 3 draws will be finalized. Aquila Dhama, FBC Sports.
A new winner will be crowned at the 2021 RC Manubai and APCO Konings Veterans Tournament. Since COVID-19 continues to affect all international outings, defending champions Rewa Veterans New Zealand will not be able to participate this year. Fiji Football Chief Executive Mohammed Yusuf says the tournament has grown over the years as more teams are participating.
This is part of FIGFA's social responsibility that we want to create this competition for the health and well-being of our former players.
Ballantyne Memorial School heads into the Super Zone 1 meet with one goal in mind. The all-girls school were the 2018 girls champion but lost the title in 2019. They fell short last year by 2 goals to Namosi Secondary School, a wound still fresh in the minds of the officials and athletes. Sports coordinator Beretta Langere says this year they are focused on getting the title back to Ndela Navesi.
BMS was the champion 2018, not 2019, 2018. And that's what we're working hard to retain the girls' title.
Taking a look at the weather, partly cloudy conditions with some showers and isolated afternoon or evening thunderstorms over the northeastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Rain to gradually ease from tomorrow. That's FBC Morning News. Join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही हैं।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।